Hi everyone, it's Shaz with Abundant Clarity. So, real quick, I just wanted to let all of you know that I love sharing my stories, and I wanted to emphasize that these videos contain my experience and my opinions only. If you want to practice Ho'oponopono, I would highly recommend registering for a workshop with Mabel Katz to learn more. You can find the workshop link in the description. So, on to the stories. These are stories that happened last week. The first one was healing a negative work relationship. The second one was success with a new student. And the third story involves apricots. So, for the first story, where I healed a negative work relationship, it all started last week when I saw that I had received an email from someone who works at a company that we contract with. I started feeling anxious because the emails I've received from this particular person, whom I'll call Jane, have often been confrontational. Almost every email ended with the dreadful, "Please call me when you can." Several years ago, her last few emails accused me of dropping the ball when it turned out that her team was at fault. It was really upsetting, and it left me feeling pretty triggered for a while. My initial thought when seeing her recent email in my inbox was, "What is it now?" When I felt the resistance, I cleaned, saying to the divine within me, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." I decided to clean and check her email the next day. The following day, I was surprised to read a polite message from Jane, kindly reminding me to turn in my documentation on time. Her tone and overall energy seemed positive, and miraculously, she did not ask me to call her. I responded and I let her know that I had previously informed her team that I was sick, and I apologized for the delayed documentation. She replied telling me to take care and that she was happy I was feeling better. Now, it's important to note that I've been working with Jane for almost 6 years, and this was the first email that was this polite and compassionate. It was also the first email where I didn't need to call her to have a long, drawn-out discussion about issues we could have resolved over email. Hallelujah. Quick note. So I've been sharing my success stories, and I'm sure you've been hearing a lot of others' stories as well. Stories might include relationship miracles or medical miracles, such as healing mental illness, as in the case of Dr. Hugh Len, where he healed mentally ill criminals. While hearing all these stories, it's important to keep in mind that although Ho'oponopono is powerful, it's still essential to take responsibility and do what we need to do in the moment, such as set boundaries, clean, and stay away from harmful situations and people. And for medical conditions, again, it's important to take responsibility and seek advice from a qualified healthcare professional. So, on to the next story. This one is a fun one. I started working with a super cute 4-year-old client whom I'll call Bob. He was diagnosed with ADHD, so as you can imagine, my first session was quite challenging. His dad was holding him on his lap at the start of the session, and his favorite response to almost every question was a specific potty word that begins with P, and I'll leave it at that. He wasn't interested in any of the games that I'd planned. Not only that, but he was bouncing around and grabbing different toys and objects nearby. So the session definitely wasn't going as I had hoped, and his dad appeared frustrated and impatient as well. At the end of the session, his dad said that he didn't think Zoom would be effective, but he was willing to try it out for possibly several more sessions. After the session, I thought, what was that? I felt inspired to take the student on. I was well prepared with different games and fun tasks. What a disappointment. I took a deep breath and remembered to clean, let go, and trust as I continued my day. I was pleasantly surprised during our next meeting. The energy completely shifted. Bob was sitting calmly in his own chair with his dad by his side. His father seemed more peaceful and patient as well, so that was nice. And during the session, Bob didn't use any potty words. Instead, we were able to complete multiple games and tasks successfully. At one point during the middle of the session, Bob needed a 5-minute break because he got upset when his father attempted to play with his toy. But despite this session was productive and pleasant. All right, so on to the last story that I have. This one happened last weekend and it involves my favorite fruit. I would say one of my favorite fruits. I love so many, the apricot. And Jay and I are so fortunate that we have a delicious apricot tree in the backyard that produces the most amazing fruit. And I saw that my supply was getting low, so I went outside to pick some more. And I've been picking them daily. So most of the ripe ones were out of reach. And even with the help of a chair, they were about 3 feet above my head. So I began cleaning, and lo and behold, the perfect apricot fell and landed right next to me. Keep in mind, I've been picking apricots for years, and this was the first time that an apricot fell down at the perfect time. A few hours later, I decided to take a walk. As I was cleaning, I felt guided to walk down a different street. I saw a lady walking her dog, and we stopped and chatted for a while. I found out that she was a neighbor who lived a 5-minute walk away. And before we parted, guess what she asked me? She asked if I liked apricots. Yeah, I love apricots. She kindly gifted me with a box, and I'm still enjoying them today. So, the last story is one of my favorites because of the timing of how it all happened within that day. My apricot supply was getting low, then an apricot fell from the tree at the divine time, and then I met a random neighbor the same day who gave me a box of apricots and told me that I could pick more when I needed them. And in my life, I've been gifted with apples and lemons, but never apricots. So this was a real treat to experience. To end, although sharing these success stories is fun, the best gift in practicing Ho'oponopono has been experiencing increased peace and connection to the divine. Every other experience, as amazing as it can be, pales in comparison, whether it's attending an amazing concert or going on a dream vacation. There's nothing personally that can ever replace the connection to the divine, not even an unlimited supply of apricots. Thank you all so much for listening. I love you all. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.